Yeah, I'm not. Peter's not here. Clearly, it's me and Zach now. And I was gonna do the whole like intro fake being Peter thing, and then I clicked the wrong buttons, and I'm just like, no, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna do that.
It's an inauspicious start to our PA howdy takeover of the Dynasty grind.
But you know what I can do? Look, okay, I'm about to say know what I can do. You know what I think I can do? Oh, that was taking too long. I'm not going to sit through that whole thing.
Russ, how's it going tonight?
It's going pretty dang well. Like I'm feeling it. I'm ready for this. I didn't at all say I wouldn't be sad if we canceled this. I would never say something like that. I'm angry, actually. I am extremely angry, and it has everything to do with Addison Hayes and Rocky Petrella.
and T. Higgins and Devontae Smith.
Yep. We are in Trade Addicts 11 startup, and unfortunately, my friends know me too well. And unfortunately, I have too many of my friends in this league, because not only does... So, Zach, I don't remember what it was, but you sent me an offer to trade for... Like,
yeah, it was a 24 first. It was an early or a late fourth for a third, and I also threw in a 24 first. I will go on record though saying that if you actually look through your Rolodex of friends, I traded up and then didn't have the heart to take T. Higgins when the two players that I wanted to trade up for went back to back in front of me. And so I took Mark Andrews, who I know you hate, instead of T. Higgins.
I hate that, man. So you wanted Pitts or the 103?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, and he took Mark, and then Addison brags before taking T. Higgins in the next pick. He's like, you traded away. It's your fault. And I'm like, I was tired. Zach sent me a trade, and I'm like, it's either just hit accept or look and decide who I want to draft. I don't want to think going with that. And then Addison and I are recording the DLF trade show. And during it, we practically stop so he can say he's going to offer Rocky a trade to get one in front of me, which was on the clock, because he knows who I'm going to take and he wants to get him. And I'm like, please don't do that, because it's going to work. Please don't do that. While we're still recording, he accepts it and he drafts Devonta Smith. Check my Twitter. I took a picture of the of my monitor, and it's Addison literally just like, and it's the face of the man who jumped one pick ahead of you to draft the guy he knows you were going to draft. He did not feel bad at all. But we are here in Combine Doesn't Matter season. And I purposely did not fix Peter's typo, because it makes us feel like Peter's here with us. I guess I have to be honest. I literally do not know anything that came out of the Combine. I purposely just completely and utterly avoided it. The only thing I was going to go back and look at was Zach Charbonnet's numbers. But then I saw someone like do one of those people that benefit the most from the Combine, and he was on there. Yeah. So I'm like, he wasn't slow. That's all I needed to see.
And it was so. I know we've talked about this. The Combine does matter, but it doesn't matter
not
to
for us now,
because it matters to the NFL, and the NFL will count how much it matters to them when they make the draft picks. And so, like, it was really cool to see the tight ends, because the tight ends tested really well, which means this is a good tight end class. It was cool to see Anthony Richardson be the most athletic quarterback in the history of the world. Like, that's interesting. And outside of that, there really wasn't a whole lot that changed much.
Yeah.
So
I further go, oh yeah, there was one number I saw that I had to comment on, and that was that Jalen Hyatt ran like a 4.55, and of course that was even unofficial.
It was a 4.4 flat.
but his first run was 4.55.
Was it?
Yeah, and unofficially, which means it was probably lower.
Yeah.
But I had to just take that opportunity to be like, that's your burner, folks. That's your burner. And I did this.
I tried to tell people that Marvin Mims was going to out Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah. I'm doing a rookie mock for DLF, and I'm absolutely making sure. I grabbed Tank Bigsby in the second because I'm not going to not take Tank Bigsby, and I'm going to grab Mims in the third if he's still around.
Nice.
All right, but we should, because we are not going to be here till 1 a.m, because that's a Peter thing. So let's get to the questions, because I have control. Sim the Geek. Hi guys, 12-team PPR. I wonder if I should trade CMC. No, trade CMC for Javonte Williams and Terry McLaurin as trade base. It could get bigger on both sides. Good idea or not? I won my league last season. Okay, I'm glad you at least said base, because that is not a fair trade, but I'm going to let Zach actually say words, because my answer is just no.
Yeah, and it is just no, but it's because you're assuming the risk of Javonte Williams and his knee injury, which is either doing great or is way behind schedule, depending on who Matthew Berry talked to, because he heard like everything. And so if there are people saying that he's way behind schedule and the Broncos are scared, that's not great. Even if he is ahead of schedule, you still haven't seen him come back. Terry McLaurin is an older wide receiver that people are worried about in terms of value. He will be productive. He will be good, but you're never going to get the Terry McLaurin trade value from 2 years ago that, you're not. And so Christian McCaffrey to me is insulated in the fact that he should be the RB1, but he should be a top 5 running back points wise. And he's still in that group of really good 2017 running backs that is still heading up the top of this running back group in the NFL. So he's going to be around another year. He's going to score points another year. He's got his value is going to be his value, minus maybe 2 spots next year, because or 3, whatever you got for running backs coming in that can usurp him, which there aren't many, and Bijan Robinson and potentially Jahmyr Gibbs. So you're still looking at a top 10, like solid top 10 running back going into next year. So I would hang on to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, and I'm all, especially in March, all for trading away running backs, but not for this. Like, if you're going to trade away Christian McCaffrey, you need something that is young and solid.
Yeah.
Like these players don't actually fit because I think they're too expensive. But your Higgins and Waddles and but even if you want to go even lower down, and I know the ceiling isn't necessarily there, but someone like DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp's not young, but I need someone that makes me feel better than Javonte Williams and Terry McLaurin. And I love Terry McLaurin, but he's also on the Manders, and I don't trust anything they do there. So I don't think it's going to get better for him anytime soon. Logan B, taking part in a hybrid startup draft. First 6 rounds auction, late 20-plus rounds snake. How would you allocate your budget in the auction? I'm inclined to go 85% budget for 2 stud QBs. So pretty much this means the very good players are going to be auctioned and the rest of it is just snake.
Right.
So I am all for going all in on 2-3 players at this point. I don't know if I want them both to be QBs because they will be 85% of your budget. But if you go for Kelsey, strong wide receiver, and quarterback, you can probably pull all 3 of them in less than 85% of your budget, especially with Kelsey's age, and assuming you want to go all in, or depending on if you're in a league with enough people who are still a little low on Pitts, in our draft, Pitts got drafted at the 303 in a 0.75 tight end premium.
Yeah.
That's late in a tight end premium league, and you didn't list that there. So I absolutely agree that you should put a large amount of your budget into a small amount of players, but I don't know if 2 quarterbacks is the way I would go with it. Unless you can walk away with Mahomes and Allen, in which case, yeah, go do that. But if you ever walk away with those 2, you're happy.
To me, a little strategy though is if you are able to start out with putting players up forbid, I would start off with whoever the second quarterback. Like if I wanted to stack one of Allen and Mahomes with a Herbert or a Hurts, I would throw out one of those second tier, like the Herbert, Hurts, Lamar Jackson, just to see where the temperature of the room is on this, because people may be holding back to go get one of the top tier quarterbacks, or if everything, if somebody runs out their powder on one of those players, then you kind of know where you stand, Logan. So there's a little bit, I think, of strategy to it too.
Yeah, I've only done slow auctions. I haven't done like fast paced auctions. So at least like in slow auctions, you can see the temperature of the room in certain positions on certain players. So that's the advice I can give on. Like if this is a fast auction, then like, man, make other people spend their money first, and then you figure out what you want after.
Yeah,
which works both auction styles anyway. But I like what Zach said first, though. Like, don't throw the big money out there right away, because you might just get people overexcited, or you might blow too much of your budget.
I'm really interested though. So like, you only get 6 players, obviously, with whatever your. Is that how that works with a?
Well, I just think it's the first 6
round?
rounds worth of players. Like if it's a 12 team, maybe the first 72 players are auctioned, and the rest of you go snake after that.
That's interesting. I'm curious, Logan. You'll have to tell us. Come back. Yeah. Tell us how it went and how how things are set up, because this is interesting.
Because there has to be like a $1 minimum, right? Like, because at the end of the day, someone might be getting the top 6 round player for $1 because everyone else spent their money.
Right.
Which I guess is strategy, but that feels weird. Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Evening, gentlemen. 12-team Superflex, half-point PPR, start 10. Have a very stacked team with my only real needs being there's no such thing as a need for a third quarterback. And starting running back, 103, 109, 110, and 112. You don't have any needs whatsoever. Would you rather take third QB or CMC with the 103? 12-team Superflex. Again, let me give you the smallest sample of smallest samples. This one draft we're doing. Christian McCaffrey, because we have the rookie picks in this startup. Christian McCaffrey went 208. The 103 went 304. So the values are probably close enough. But if I'm you say you have a very stacked team, I take Christian McCaffrey and then trade for. Actually, no, I don't care about a third quarterback. Trade for a third quarterback if you need it, and use the rest of the picks to do fun things.
Well, and here's the thing about a third quarterback in Superflex. You're probably, and you should, if you roster a third quarterback, going to roster a quarterback, like somebody who's not a great. So why not add Christian McCaffrey, who's going to give you more value than, say, starting, whoever that QB, 28 is. Yeah. Why not have Christian McCaffrey, who's giving you running back 1 numbers? And if you have to super flex him 1 week, Christian McCaffrey's better than that third string quarterback anyway. You don't have to start 2 quarterbacks in a super flex league, says the guy who hardly ever starts 2 quarterbacks in a super flex league.
Yeah, I think that's the really important. He goes on. Is there anyone you would rather target at running back instead of Christian McCaffrey with my later picks, either in trading or through the draft? When it comes to trading, I will say you go and get Christian McCaffrey whenever you can go and get Christian McCaffrey. If you're talking about guys to get with the 109, 110, 112, wait as long as you can, because there's no reason to do that now. Like, there's no reason to, this is the wrong name, but like, there's no reason to go get the Miles Sanders level player. I guess maybe if you can get someone to go for like Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
With those later picks, which you might be able to with the rookie fever that's going on. But I don't know. Like, we're like running backs, not only do they get hurt, their depth charts get weirder as time goes on. So like, I'm absolutely fine waiting to the last possible second. And I know the last possible second when you're talking your rookie picks is a lot sooner than like preseason. So it's not as easy to get away with. But if you want to get Christian McCaffrey, which I think is always a great idea, go get him. But otherwise, I say don't do anything with those just yet.
Yeah, and so Chubb, Josh Jacobs are the 2 names that
Eckler,
with those pick. Yeah, Eckler is a good one too. Although I think you get more points, but fewer years.
I'm fine with that. Zach said he has a stacked team, in which case just worry about this year and then worry about it next year.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. And like he seems to know what he's doing because he has a stacked team and 4 picks in the first. Listens to us, clearly. Or watches. I'm bad when it comes to YouTube. I always say listen. Order 66. 66. Zach, what were your biggest surprises, tested better or worse than expected at the combine compared to what you saw on tape?
I don't know. Like I didn't have any
discrepancies. Like, I thought he would do a better 3-cone.
I didn't have anyone that really surprised me. It surprised me that people were as down on Devin A-Chain's weight as they were because you knew that he was going to be a small back. But in terms of like the actual, how many bench press reps and how many. How fast they ran the 40 and that sort of thing. There wasn't anything that really surprised me. I do think that it surprised people how well JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba tested in the 3-cone and the short shuttle, because he was like elite 3-cone short shuttle, like top 5 in the last 15 years.
It's almost like he's good at the game.
Oh, he's awesome. And it's going to be so much fun watching people have to eat their kind of and Russ, you mentioned it though. Jalen Hyatt tested slower than we expected. Like he did. Like I expected
again. All I know is that one unofficial number, and then I stopped paying attention.
And he like a 4.4 is really fast, but a lot of people were saying he was going to be 4.3, potentially in the John Ross, the 4.2s, mid 4.2s, and he was not. I was excited, happy to see Marvin Mims do that though. Run in the low 4.3s, like that was
4.3s. Yeah. You showed that to me, and I'm like, yeah, baby.
Yeah, but again, order 66, I don't hold that much stock with the combine, so it's not changing. Like my tape evaluation is what my tape evaluation is, and it will be my evaluation until we get to the NFL draft, and then Draft Capital will change my dynasty rankings from my tape evaluation. And so if players fall out of the first 3 rounds, that hurts. So that moves players, maybe down a tier. If a player gets drafted higher, that moves them maybe up a tier. But by and large, the combine does not affect my tape grade. So
has there ever been a player that tested at the combine and you're like, and then gone back and watched a little bit of game tape?
For sure. Well, Isaiah Spiller last year. Like you expected him to come out and be like fast and physical and and he wasn't. And so you're like, okay, well that doesn't jive with what I saw on tape. And even last year with Kyron Williams, like you expected Kyron Williams to come out and be faster because the idea was, okay, this could be somebody who plays like Austin Eckler or Breida or but they're all really fast, and it's that speed that sets them apart. So again, most of the players that we were, or I was interested in and excited about this year tested well enough. I think Kayshon Boutte may be the one player who falls in the NFL draft because of the combine, but also not because of the combine. So I have him graded out as my wide receiver 4. By the time the NFL draft happens, if he falls out of the first 3 rounds, he will not sniff wide receiver 4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And part of that is he did not test very well. He was, he was slow in the 40 and didn't do. He was okay in the agility drills, but not like. And he only had a 29-inch vertical. So, like, speaking as someone who in the past has had a vertical that is in that range, that's not that impressive. So,
I mean, if you move a decimal point over, I had probably a 2.9. Not good. Okay, so this one made me laugh. Mouthful of gold. The 101 or DK, ETN, and the 24-second. The reason this made me laugh was yesterday I got sent an offer of my 101, 201, and like players that just don't matter, like Julius Chestnut and another name I can't even remember, for Metcalf and ETN. So if you're getting Metcalf, ETN, and a second just for the 101, I call that a super win. I like that.
Yeah. I can't even argue with that.
Todd Radmaker, nice name. I hope that's your real name. JSN or Olave? I'm gonna step back to you on this one.
I think right now the answer is Olave, and that pains me, but I think it is Olave. I think you saw Olave do enough in his rookie year with questionable quarterback play. You've now seen Derek Carr end up in New Orleans with Olave. Olave should be that number one locked on target. And if you've ever watched Derek Carr play, you know that he locks onto a player pre-snap and he's going to throw that ball there come hell or high water. And it seems like it will be Olave. Now, that's not to say that Jackson Smith and Jigma doesn't have the ceiling or the potential to be Olave or better, because I think he does. I graded him out higher than Olave, but I think you're assuming a lot of risk with JSN right now that you don't have with Olave. You know where Olave is. You know who Olave's quarterback is. You know that he's the number one on that team. And so I think that the risk is on the JSN side. And so to me, it's easier to take Olave right now. And again, it's nothing against JSN. I want JSN on my teams.
Yeah.
But Olave is the pick right now.
Oh yeah. And Olave is ranked very highly. Let me just put it like, I know that they're doing March ADP now because it is March, even though I got the invite and I'm like, why are they doing March? Isn't it just the end of Feb? No, nope. March. But in January, nope, still February. See, talking is not my strong suit. I don't know why. Like, you get in this coast chair and you lose the ability to talk. Chris Olave was wide receiver 8.
Yeah.
In February ADP. Like, he's up there. So losing out to Olave is not condemnation in any way on JSN. And unfortunately, just pure value wise, having nothing to do with talent whatsoever.
Right.
It's Olave, and by a decent amount. Oh, okay. So here we go. Mouthful of gold. Amends his question. Is this expecting too much for the 101? I think so. I think I was shooting for the moon with DK and ETN for the 101.
I think that's pretty close.
I
don't think it's asking too much.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I think it's asking for like enough, but I mean, I don't think it's too much.
There you go. Kevin, hey guys, can you guys cook up some cheetah trades and 12-team Superflex ideas, examples for him? Would like to get younger and still contend. I mean, the answer to that is always, okay, tier down and get a first on top. I actually pulled up the trade analyzer. The trade finder. There you go. And I set it for 12-team, 2QB or Superflex. Tyreek for the 107 and 111. I would like one of those to be a little earlier, but that's fine. Tyreek Hill, Tyler Algier, and a 24-second for ETN and Burks. A lot of these. Oh, wow. Tyreek Hill, a second and a fourth for Teddy Bridgewater and Travis Etienne. Something has to be. That was a safe leagues trade. Yeah. So that is just a bad trade. Don't listen to that one. Oh, man. Here's Tyreek Hill for Sam Howell and Jerry Jeudy. What is this? Don't listen to these. This is not right. Tyreek. Okay. No. Tyreek Hill for DK Metcalf, Alec Pierce in a fourth. Tyreek Hill and Joe Mixon for Jonathan Taylor in a first. Tyreek Hill for Amon-Ra St. Brown in a third. Like, anything on top of ARSB is like, is great. Like, that's really what I think you have to do is get a little younger, go for like Devonta Smith, Drake London,
Yes.
like that level of guys. Or if you want to get a big plus on top, go down to like Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Who they're getting a quarterback. And even when it was just Carson Wentz, Michael Pittman did really well. So I'm leaning back into Michael Pittman, but like that's really the best answer is find like look at the wide receiver lists of all the wide receivers, find your ranges, drop down one tier from Hill, and start adding a first to see what you can get. I mean, that's really just what you can do. But also, I'm not worried about his age.
No,
like
he's 29. He's got
like he's not going to magically. First of all, he's not going to magically slow down, and it's not just his speed that he has. He's fast, but not going to lie. But he knows how to use it. He knows how to use his feet. He knows how to get open, and that will let him play long enough. Or he's fast enough. Like Deshaun Jackson is like 46 and still outrunning everyone, and he's just as much of an outlier as Deshaun Jackson is. So maybe he just stays that fast.
And I think that's the thing that what you just said at the end, that he's an outlier. The uber elite players stay good longer. And that's just what, but Kevin, to answer your question from my perspective, I think Russ is absolutely on the right track. I think that I love what you said with the Devonta Smith and the Drake London, that tier of players, even Treylon Burks, although I think you're getting more on top of Burks.
Yeah, like I think that's a great idea because Burks himself isn't that valuable, so you can.
It would be cool to get like Burks and like the 105 or 6.
And then walk away with JSN
you walk away with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Treylon Burks. And so basically you get the wide receiver one in the last two classes, and it's a 50-50 shot that they'll hit, and you're feeling good about it. But that's I think what I would do is kind of do that tier down to a young wide receiver who I think is good. Or I mean, if you're gonna like see if you can trade into like multiple firsts. And I know that that's not great for your being competitive, but if you can do that for multiple firsts, it gives you the fungibility of having first. It gives you the ability to maybe trade one and get that player, but still have, down the road a way to reload.
Do you think you can get like Pittman and Cup?
Ooh,
for Hill?
I'd
like
rather
stay older with one of them that's going to get you a crap ton of points, but also get younger with a lot of potential. Also,
see, and I'd rather have the pick and Cup than I would Pittman, because I think Addison and Jackson Smith and Jigba have a higher ceiling than Pittman, and so if I'm gonna swing, man, let's swing.
Might as well swing. Yeah, makes sense.
So, but I like the Cup. That's a fun one.
Brian Freeze traded Pacheco for the 202 and Michael Thomas, then Brian Robinson for Calvin Ridley. Decent return. What was it again? Pacheco for the 202 and Michael Thomas. Yeah, I guess so. And give me Calvin Ridley all day.
Yeah.
Oh man, did you read the Calvin Ridley article?
Yes.
I want to find Calvin Ridley and give him a hug, except like I'll end up getting tackled by his security and then there'll be an investigation. I don't want Calvin to get suspended again. But like, if you haven't read it, I don't remember where it was. It's probably The Athletic, because that's where
it was the Player Tribune.
Yep. He wrote an article about the past year of his life, and it is brutally honest. And it's just amazing to read, because you're not used to players being this open about everything they go through. And if you were one of those people that said bullshit mental health and all of this stuff, read that and feel like a piece of shit. I'll put that out there. I won't be nice about that.
That's the most difficult piece of fantasy football for me, is that it's so easy to dehumanize these players because their name and their statistics are a piece in the game we play.
Yep.
And we watch them on Sundays and they have their helmet on. And so it is no face and laundry and stats, and that's what the name on the back and
that's all you see.
That, like, you're not seeing the people, and we hardly ever get that glimpse into the human side of these players. And it was really, first of all, like, absolutely incredible that he would feel comfortable enough to put himself out there and think that he's got to tell the world his story, but also, like, hard to read.
Yeah, it was like legit, like,
worth doing.
Feelings were drummed up.
Like, if you go to at Tacit Assassin 13, like, I retweeted it. It's probably like 3 tweets down. I don't tweet very much, so you should be able to find it.
Yeah. Okay. So back to this though. Pacheco for the 202. Michael Thomas, whatever. That's fair enough for me. I like Pacheco, and we know where he is. We know he's on the Chiefs, so I'm good just with him. But the 202, again, fair value, and picks are fun. And I would take Ridley over Brian.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Yep. So I definitely think that's more than a decent return. And those are 2 very good trades. Hoping to get Gibbs, and your team will just be all that much better if you get Gibbs on your team. So
yeah, you probably could get him at the 105 as if this is super flex. If it's not super flex, you can get him at the 102 if you want him. So
equity loan, which is Andrew. No, both in 4s on Hyatt, top percentile and everything. I told you what I saw was unofficial. Like, that's
no, like I said, he ran a 4.4 flat was but
yeah, well, whatever. Mike Kaling, pending landing spot, pick 2, JSN, Olave, or Wilson.
I mean, pending landing spot, you got to take the 2 guys that you've seen do it. But
yeah, like, that's again, going back remember when I said Olave was wide receiver 8? You want to guess who wide receiver 7 is?
Yeah,
it's Garrett Wilson. You have to take those 2 guys right now over JSN.
But I still think the ceiling of JSN is just as high as those 2. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. But like you said before,
yes,
know where they are, their situations, and Wilson might be getting Aaron Rodgers, and we get Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers anymore, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. And plus, maybe that makes Elijah more relevant again. So yeah, I have to take the 2 known players, but it's not far behind that I want JSN. But right now, the pick value is much lower than those 2 wide receivers are.
Yeah.
JSN 3 cone was special, important for a pure slot.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. It's that quick twitch, that change of direction, that ability to plant and then go the opposite and create that separation in short areas that slot receivers do. And it's absolutely what you saw on tape with Jackson Smith and Jigba. So what people were like, oh, he didn't run very fast. I was like, well, that's not what he does. So it's okay.
Gavin, being disappointed over a 4.41 is crazy. That's really fast. Point blank period. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it was completely sarcastic. Like that. He's a very, very fast human being.
But he was being billed in the mid-high 2s, and so
no human being should be expected to be in the 4.2s. If it happens, that's effing amazing. But you didn't run in the 4.2, so you're slow. Remember that people have muscle and bone and mass that stops them from being too far beyond human.
Yeah.
Patrick, 1 QB, AJ Brown, and there's an or in there. All right. AJ Brown, Breece Hall, and the 109, or the 102, 103, 105, and London. 1 QB, I want the AJ Brown and Breece Hall side.
Oh, see, I want the
I get it. You're getting a lot of neat stuff at the 2, 3, and 5, and London is good, but AJ Brown and Breece Hall right now are top 3 at their position. I'm just going to take that and have fun at the 109.
Yeah, I don't
get
mind
the other
that.
side.
I still think I want the picks, but it's close enough, Patrick, that you're not like neither side lost.
Oh yeah, like this is going to be fun for both of you.
Yeah.
like walking away with like JSN, Gibbs, Quentin Johnston. Because I'm not, because like I want to be like, you're walking away with JSN, Addison, and Gibbs if you're lucky. If not Johnston, like no, I'm gonna just let's pretend the world doesn't work perfectly. Like you're gonna pick two, 3 out of 4 very good players.
Yeah.
And then you get Drake London. It's going to be fun. It absolutely will be fun. But AJ Brown and Breece Hall are just really, really good.
Yeah.
So I would see this trade go down in my league, and I would literally just feel jealous. Like I didn't get to be part of that, and that makes me sad.
So if AJ Brown was 2 years younger, like to me, it's a smash AJ Brown side.
Was he 25?
He is, but again, that's not a huge deal. But it's 2 years younger, a couple of injuries for Hall, and again, like I think this is pretty even. But I like Gibbs and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like
it's fun. It really, really, I get it.
And London's
London is good, and London,
yeah.
Yes, and it won't be a Marcus Mariota offense anymore.
Right.
Open 24 hours. What, if anything, would you pay to move from the 108 to the 107? Well, clearly you have to pay something. If you want to move up, like start with the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're not going to move up anywhere in the first round by offering a third, even though that's probably what it should be. And if there is a reason you feel the need to move up 1 pick, just pay for it. Start with like assuming the 208 is the 108 is yours. Offer the 208, see what happens. If you really feel that weirded out, ask for the 307. Or if you just want your picks now, throw in a 24 second and see what happens.
But here's the thing though, with the 108, unless you're looking for a quarterback and you may actually have to move up further, like there's a really legitimate chance that 4 quarterbacks go in the first round of the NFL draft.
Yeah, and they might go in the first 5 to 6 in the rookie draft.
And that's what I'm like. All of a sudden, that 108. So if you go Bijan Robinson, Richardson, Young, Stroud, or Stroud Young, people are really excited that Stroud threw and that Young didn't, and he came in short because we didn't know that he was short before. And then Levis. Okay, so now we're at 5. So then a lot of people have Gibbs. I would still be at JSN. Now you're at Gibbs or JSN, and now you're at Addison, Quentin Johnston, like whoever it is that you
will be your.
Yeah,
we seem to have those 3 players in a tier: JSN, Addison, and Gibbs. You get the last person in that tier, which I love because I hate making decisions. So I like having other people tell me what I can do. So I'll take that last player there.
And people are a little hesitant on Addison because he was somebody who didn't come out as fast as people thought, and he came out a little bit smaller than people thought. So maybe we're afraid of Addison. I'm not afraid of Addison, but if you are, do it. Throw that second, get up to the 107, and then you get somebody that you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's always worth seeing what they want to move up. Like if you're in the kind of league where you can actually just talk about it, see what they say. Yeah. Daniel Lawrence M's in a weird place at the end. Okay. I have the 104 in a Dynasty Superflex League. Who are you taking if Bryce and Stroud are off the board? Well, okay.
Richardson?
I was going to ask you, is he already now not knowing? I know the real answer is, well, if he gets drafted in the top like 5, 6, yes, Richardson's going to be the 3rd pick. And I think I'm already there to say, like all of last year, well, if Willis gets drafted in the first, this is what's going to happen. And now I think that's what we have to do with Richardson. Well, if Richardson is drafted in the first like 10 picks, and he's the 103.
So last year I had the caveat on Willis because you didn't know how he was going to test. You didn't know how teams were going to think about him. You've seen Anthony Richardson test. You've seen him test better than 99.9% of quarterbacks in the hit. Like there were 2 quarterbacks who ran faster than he did, and he's Like not this year, but like overall.
And
Um,
like Mike Vick maybe, and like
no, RG3, and there was another some guy you've never heard of, who was very
tell me
fast.
what I know.
I'll look it up, and then you can tell me if you heard of him. But he's probably going to be a very high NFL first round pick. The upside, the ceiling of him, if he gets on the field, what you saw out of Justin Fields last year, where he didn't really throw at all, but was still putting up 20, 25 fantasy points a game. That's what Anthony Richardson is on the field.
Yeah.
Whether or not he gets on the field, whether or not an NFL team thinks he needs seasoning or whatever, like for fantasy, that is incredibly valuable. That rushing upside. There's never been a quarterback who finished with, and I can't remember what the exact stat is, I think it's 700 yards, who hasn't been a QB1. Like 700 yards rushing. And if Anthony Richardson is on the field,
he'll do that.
He's going to do that.
Yeah. Wyatt, if you had Cup and Diggs on your team and you were the champion, would you try and run it back or look to sell players or picks you'd target?
This is similar to the Tyreek Hill thing.
Yeah, like it all depends on what you can pull off. But the problem is what you can pull off right now won't be good normally. You have crazy people like me who will pay for Cup early in the non-point scoring season. Like I sent like DJ Moore in the late first for him, which everyone told me I overpaid. But I'm like, it's Cooper Cup. He's going to score me 300 something points. I don't care.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't get what you can get. And it's the exact same answer as the Tyreek Hill thing, except if you're tiering down from Cup, you're going to go a little lower. You might have to go for like the Jerry Jeudy plus a second. But if you're going down from Diggs, exact same stuff we said about, because him and Tyreek are same tier for me.
Yeah.
Addison ran the 4.55.
Yep.
Did he? Okay, so maybe someone typed it to me wrong. That's a distinct possibility.
But I
don't know why I trust the people I talk to.
Speed for a wide receiver doesn't matter as much as people think it does.
Do people think it matters?
But there are a lot of people on Twitter screaming about it that think it matters, but it doesn't.
I just think people like screaming a little too much. Gary, are we on the verge of the end of King Henry's dominance with the Titans reportedly shopping him? I mean, yes, until it happens. I mean, like this is Frank Gore, this is Larry Fitzgerald all over again. Like this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. I'm gonna keep riding Derrick Henry until he decides to retire. You're not going to be able to trade him away for much on your teams. Like every once in a while, you see someone say they got a first for Derrick Henry. I haven't seen it in real life, but if you can, I'd probably take it. But he's still, if he goes somewhere else, he's going to score a lot of fantasy points.
Yeah.
So unless he retires, he's still worth more to your team than he will ever be in trade at this point.
Yeah. And it's another one of those, again, the elite players stay good longer than.
I mean, he's already doing it because he's
29.
Yeah. He also had like 3 years on the pine, so
he did, which was I don't understand how that happened, but he did.
Freaking DeMarco Murray. Brian again, 10-team superflex QBs: Mahomes, Jones, Pickett. Do I spend the 102 or 105 on the top 3 quarterback, or stand pat with my QB room? Draft for value, trade for need. You are not filling your team's needs through the rookie draft. So chances are, if Bijan does not go 101, you're taking Bijan 102. If he does, you should take one of the quarterbacks or trade back.
Yeah.
Actually, with the 102, 105, you might be able to get 2 quarterbacks. But honestly, I don't hate going into the season with Mahomes, Jones, and Pickett. Like Jones was a top 15. I can't remember where he finished, but he was doing really well last year with Isaiah Hodgins to throw the ball to.
Are we? Is it Daniel Jones or is it Mac Jones? So that's the question. That's the question.
Whether it's his nobler in the mind. Okay, if it's Mac Jones, I feel a little less good about it, but I still don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I would absolutely take like Jones and the 102 and go see how high I can get from someone else. If like you want to upgrade your quarterback, don't do it through the draft. Throw whichever Jones or Pickett, whatever people like more, and see if you can like sneak Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts out of someone.
Yeah.
Like I'd be more willing to do that. But if you are just drafting, you draft for value. You don't draft to fill holes in your team. Depending on your he's answering someone else. Devin, what are you doing if you were at the 107 spot in rookie drafts, assuming Bijan, Stroud, Young, AR? Anthony Richardson. I don't know why that doesn't click in my brain. JSN and Gibbs all go prior. You're taking Addison.
That's what I would do.
Addison or Quentin Johnson? Like you find your...
No, it's Addison for me. Like clear.
No. Yeah, me too. But you find your poison. You pick your poison. That's the phrase.
But also, where are we? Like, if you're going to know a lot more after the NFL draft, if you're rookie,
talk about it now, Zach.
Well, but this is what I'm talking about it now. But I'm trying to give Devin a little bit of frame of reference. If the NFL draft falls the way we think, if Jordan Addison's still a first-round wide receiver, whatever, top first 2-round wide receiver, he's still the pick for me fairly handily. Now, if he's not, if he falls, if Quentin Johnston ends up in the first round and Addison falls to like the 3rd or 4th, maybe we have a conversation. I still think I'm taking Addison because I think he has the better profile to be successful in the NFL. But I think that's the conversation is Quentin Johnston and Jordan Addison. And then there's a tier of a couple of running backs that I like Zach Charbonnet. Like if Zach Charbonnet goes in the 2nd round and lands on a team that needs a starting running back, let's go.
Is like Miami the default at this point? Where do you want your running back to go? Miami.
Yeah, Miami's a good place to be.
Yeah.
San Francisco's not a bad place to be, although I guess they got McCaffrey now, but again, like that scheme, that Atlanta's a good place to be. Algier is not safe.
No. Well, no one on that team. Well, that's a lie.
I mean, you
got 2 people that are safe. The rest of them, no. Jake, pretty sure I will be taking A-Rich at 102. We'll try to trade down to 103, 104, but if I can, I'll take him with that pick. That is 100% going to happen a lot. If you listen to the DLF flagship pod, listening to Matt Price just gush over rushing quarterbacks, like he has like Allen 1, Hurts 2, Mahomes, like Herbert is like his quarterbacks 8 or 9 because he just passes. Like he puts so much value on rushing, like Lamar 3, like that's how high he is on it. And you will absolutely find people like that. And especially after, like Zach said before, what we saw out of Fields for the second half of after week 7, when, hey, we should let our quarterback do what he can do. He did really well for fantasy, and this probably sold a lot of tickets, and that's what teams care about more than winning. So I absolutely, completely get people taking Richardson at the 102 because it's the upside play. It's the same thing as people who took Lance over Fields last year.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, Jake, and this as well as we do, that rich rebar, that Konami code, that ability to rush is huge in fantasy football, even if the NFL doesn't value it necessarily as highly as we do. Like, it doesn't matter because we're not playing NFL football. It was the same reason, and I got just beaten down over this when Lamar Jackson came out, and everyone was like, nah, it's Baker and it's Darnold and I said, look, that's fine. You can evaluate Baker Mayfield as a better quarterback.
I loved Baker coming in.
But for fantasy football, it's Lamar Jackson, and it is not particularly close. And you can go back, you can pull up Dynasty Dummies episodes from that year. And I said the same thing about Hurts. One of my favorite all-time write-ups, the close, is my Jordan Love write-up. And everyone thought Jordan Love was going to be this running quarterback. They thought he was going to come. He's not. This is the guy you want is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And that was the close of his, that profile. And again, I do think Young and Stroud are very good quarterbacks, but they don't have nearly the ceiling that Richardson does for fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's a swing. Like I don't mind taking a swing at 102. Like rookie picks are replenishable assets. If you miss, you're gonna have another one next year. If you hit,
yeah. How about that? What did you do with Peter? I kidnapped him. Nobody wants to kidnap Peter because that means you have to keep him. Bon Renato, hey guys, just arrived. Have you guys covered Gibbs Combine? Do you prefer him, JSN, or trade back in the 103 in a 1 QB league? We prefer JSN. I know a lot of people out there in the world would probably put Gibbs in front just because he's a running back, and rookie drafts are where you get your running backs. We still have to wait on landing spots, but I like JSN enough that I will put him over the running back. But that is also, I know he has actual scores. I just have pure bias of wide receiver over running back.
Well, and somebody asked me this question on Twitter, like right after the combine. And I said, I always break ties to running backs in rookie drafts. And so the answer is JSN. Because it's not a tie. I have him in a tier above. And that's nothing against Gibbs. Gibbs is fantastic. But it's still...
If Jason is gone, yeah. Gibbs or trade back.
Gibbs.
Over Addison.
I think so.
Okay.
It's close. I mean, that to me is close. Especially... Oh, Alexa's yelling at me. I think that's closer. It'll be interesting to me to see where Addison lands and how early he's drafted.
Yeah.
If he's taken in the first 2 rounds, I think it's still Addison for me. If not, then it's probably Gibbs.
Zach Harris, how are you feeling about Cole Kmet versus trying to trade him to throw some darts at this tight end class? I would throw some darts at the tight end class. Yeah. There's a lot of good actual receiving tight ends.
So here's the answer, Zach. You go to @MathBomb on Twitter. You click on his website, which brings you to the RAS, the relative athletic score. You sort by tight ends from this combine, and 95% of the tight ends who hit for fantasy are above a 70 or above a 7 RAS. So just start looking at the players in this draft class who scored highly in that relative athletic score and start throwing darts at those guys.
Yeah, and there was a couple that also are, at this point, all we could do is believe rumored to have pretty high draft capital. Orlando Brown. I'm assuming that's the quarterback. I don't know.
Could be. I didn't look him up. Sounds good though.
Yeah, and I trust him to know those random weird things. Randy, keep rocking, fellas. Does landing spot affect you drafting of fellas? For me, JSN going to the Ravens scares me. I know situations change, but come on, how many wide receivers do I have to go to Baltimore and die? AJ Brown. Just say that over and over again in your head. Yeah, it's like I wanted better for Rashad Bateman also, but right now, what just happened? They're going to redo their offense. Even if they smooth things over with Lamar, they have a new offensive coordinator. They're going to change their offense, which means the system changed. So right. I know you tiebreaker, maybe change how I draft. No, like I'm not letting that happen again. Though yeah. I did see a mock draft that had the Seahawks taking JSN, and that made me want to cry. Jordan Addison, under 25 BMI, sure thing.
Peter's just going to stand on whatever side the crowd is not and scream.
You do what you do. Equity loan. Addison was bad too. I don't know at what, but okay, we're going to move on. Peter, you're supposed to be spending the evening with your wife, Peter. Olave or the 105 and 106 in Superflex? That's rough. I think I take Olave just because there's less risk in Olave versus 2 picks only, but that's probably fair value.
I think I might take the picks.
Well, yeah, you would.
There's a chance a quarterback falls to you, right? With the 105. So if you get a quarterback in JSN, like I'm happy with that over over Olave.
I get
like,
it. I think the picks is the right value answer. Like
it's again, it's close enough. I mean, Peter's doing that just to mess with us, but it's close enough that I'm not upset getting either side. I think I'm taking the picks.
Chris, 12 team Superflex. I was offered the 101 for Fields. Should I try to get more? It's even. Like they even went like back to back in a startup. Like I think Fields and the 101 is super fair. You weren't answering, so I moved on.
Yeah.
Bob Gilchrist, Tyreek Hill or T. Higgins?
I took Tyreek.
I would take T. Higgins.
But I'm trying to win this year.
Winning's overrated. You get this. Tyreek Hill will outscore T. Higgins. I just like T. Higgins more, and there's the youth that goes into it. Gelato. That's my answer.
Delicious. Tails.
I suck at fantasy football. How did you get access to my account? What the hell? I had Addison ranked over Gibbs in 1 QB, but after the combine, I'm seeing Addison falling in drafts. Should I still have Addison ranked above Gibbs, or am I crazy?
I still have Addison ranked above Gibbs right now. Like the combine does not matter yet. The combine matters when the NFL tells us it matters, and the combine only matters for Jordan Addison if he falls out of the top 3 rounds. Like that's really where we're at. He still should be a first-round pick. I do not care. He should be a first-round pick.
Really funny. Like we always say, we join leagues because the people are in it that we like. So I took over a team in a league that FF Trader Joe is in, and now he's in the Cool Kids Club, the chat for the patrons of Trade Addicts, complaining. He's like, I used to come here for trade questions, but Russ just joined 2 leagues that I'm in. And I'm literally saying, if you don't say what league it is, I will have no idea. Because it's the absolute truth. Well, I always tell people 2 things. I will always be honest. So even if you go like, Russ, you're in this league, but what do you think of this trade with another team? I will absolutely always tell you the truth. 2, if you don't tell me it's this league, 99% chance I won't pick up on it. Unless it's like super weird scoring. Like if you all of a sudden you start typing out all these like very John Boschian rules, like, okay, I think I know what league that is. But otherwise, if it's like 12 team Superflex, how am I going to know what league that is? Equity loan. See the news come out on Chase. Not good if true. No. What news came out on Chase?
I have not.
Hey, Uncle Phil in the house. How's it going, man? Justin, knowing my league, Will Levis may drop to me at the 106, 107. I am in quote unquote need of a QB. Is Levis worth drafting there? Or should I pick up the wide receiver 2 or running back 3, assuming Levis is early first round draft capital? I think you take Levis if he falls. I hate saying it because it really is just saying you're taking him because he's a quarterback and it's super flex. But if he goes to a good, well, if he lands in a good spot, that's better than saying if he goes to a good team, right? Like there was reports that the Colts really were into Levis. If that's true and they take him, I would take Levis over, probably take him over Addison and whoever RB3 is, just because I trust, man, like the Colts have done well enough at being good. I'm picking my words very carefully here, that I don't think they will all of a sudden be terrible that their quarterback would be playing so poorly. I still think I worded that terribly. I have enough, like if he goes to the Colts, I have enough faith in the Colts as an organization to be able to not have him die like they did with Andrew Luck. So
and
like
Matt Ryan and
Matt Ryan was dying before he got there. So like if he goes to like to the Texans, which I know at 2, I really, really hope doesn't happen. But like if he lands in a good spot, I think you take him over those other guys. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, just saying, like, go get your guy. Robert, 12 team Superflex, start 10. Waddle or the 106 and 2-1 Waddle.
Yeah.
Fly, Meatwad. You watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
I do not.
Well, it's decades old at this point, but there was one episode like Meatwad is literally like a little meatball
Yeah,
that
yeah,
rolls
yeah.
around
Yeah.
and is just like a complete and utter idiot. And there was that one point where he just rolls around, like I think they literally took his brain out, and he literally just walked around going, "Do what now? Do what now?" And I still say that to this day, and no one knows what I'm talking about anymore because that show's 20 years old. 12-team Superflex, half PPR. Where do you guys see the cutoff point in rookie first round? I have the 108, and it feels like that's the start of a tier to me. Well, I think we just said the 108 was the end of a tier at this point because
well, again, assuming
Bijan,
the four
quarterbacks, and
Yep.
then our tier of 3
Yep.
of JSN, Addison, and Gibbs. So,
Yep.
like that's the end of a tier. So I think you're in a good spot. Or
Yeah.
if you want to
Unless you think Addison is down in that next tier, and then it is a start of a tier, but you're actually really excited to get Addison.
Yeah, whatever, man. Justin, best time and method to sell newly signed free agents the following weeks. Want to get in on the hype market while there is before rookies are drafted. You have plenty of time. Like there's certain players you want to get out before free agency starts. Usually running backs, because we absolutely grass is greener running backs more than we do wide receivers, and a lot of the times it's not. So usually now, or not now. Yeah, now. I was about to say you wait till like a week before free agency, but it is freaking March already. I don't know what the hell's going on in my brain. It's March 8th. The 14th, I think, is the opening of free agency because the 7th was Tuesday. Yeah. So start now. Start selling how Alan Lazard is this second best wide receiver on the market right now. I mean, Juju's going to, Juju's going to hit the market, but it doesn't matter. He's staying in Kansas City. Like Miles Sanders is now like the best free agent running back. So he's going to go again. There's someone's going to pay him to be that guy. Like sell the hope because chances are it won't be there when free agency starts.
This offseason has been wild. Like you're seeing running backs be franchise tagged, which is bizarre.
Well, it's a very Cowboys thing to do.
Well, but not only that, but the Giants did the same thing to Saquon. Like it's just been a weird, like, okay, we're going to spend $10 million on a running back. Like it's been a strange offseason. Quarterbacks are moving or are threatening to move or are locking themselves in a closet. Like it's a whole weird, like the Lamar Jackson thing with the Ravens, where they're like, we're going to pretend to franchise tag you, but really what that means is somebody else can actually pay him and take him for 2 firsts, which if I'm a team in the back half of the first round, that pretty much guarantees you have a back end of the first round pick next year too.
Like, why wouldn't the Jets go do that?
Honestly, the Patriots should do that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Stickman 87 10-team Superflex start 9 half PPR. I have Barkley, plan to draft Bijan. Ooh, leaving Swift as my RB3. Ooh, I want to see if I can extract some value for him. What would you be looking to get pick or player for Swift? I just submitted today because I totally forgot to do it yesterday. My Dynasty Trading Post article for DeAndre Swift, and the answer is you will not get what you need for DeAndre Swift. My article turned into a resounding go by DeAndre Swift because his value is finally at a place where I like it. And magical. So honestly, I know it's start 9 and it's running backs and it's the non-point scoring season. Hold on to Swift. That dude will win you weeks. It's worth it. I don't think you trade them away, especially now, because now is not when you trade running backs. You will get into September, August, and people will start being like, I'm really weak at running back 2. And you'll be like, hey, you want a running back 1 as your running back 2?
Yeah.
Come and get it. Now, don't do that. Just be happy. Look at your team and just be like, yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
She'll disagree. She's Peter. She'll disagree with me just for that.
She says trade him now. But the players you're looking for too, again, are that like second tier of young wide receivers. So you're looking to get Devontae Smith or Drake London or like that tier of players, which Russ is absolutely right. You're probably not going to do that right now, but you will when people start worrying about their roster.
I can tell you how grim it is because two things. Did not expect it to be this bad and did not cherry pick these trades. These were the first 3 trades that weren't 8 pieces or insanely convoluted. Like these are the trades that had Swift as.
Do you think you get the 106 or 107 for him?
That'd be nice.
Because if you could, like to me, that's a great pivot because all of a sudden you either get a quarterback, a Gibbs, or a Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like I would be interested in that.
Okay, so this one trade was interesting because it's adding to Swift and DJ Moore for pretty much T. Higgins in a second. Like that's not bad.
Yeah.
But then it gets to DeAndre Swift for Derek Carr and Gerald Everett, and DeAndre Swift for the 110. 12 teams.
I want just a little bit. And look, if I have to add a second to that, fine, to get up to the 106, 107. But that's the type of play that I would be looking to make. If I was going to trade for a pick and going to trade now, that's what I would be looking for. Otherwise, I think Russ is spot on. You hold and wait for people to start building rosters, start building lineups.
Yeah, exactly. But again, if you can get the trade now that you think you want, go do it. Like we're not saying don't do it whatsoever. If someone offers you the 106, I think you do that because again, at worst, you're getting JSN or Gibbs, and like that's wonderful. But if you're looking at the 110, I hold for now.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good call too. But I expected Flowers to have a good combine.
Yeah, like there was a lot of good stuff coming out about him, like up to like 2 weeks before the combine. Like there was a lot of
so he was at the Shrine Bowl and like Riley Bymaster, who
I've heard of him.
Yeah, and he's a friend of mine and a friend of the show, the Dynasty Dummies show. He actually
beat me in
now
the third place game in Trade Addict 7, so I kind of hate him. But...
he actually now works at the Shrine Bowl.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
Yeah, and so Zay Flowers was in his group at the Shrine Bowl, and so he kind of was directing, and so he had a lot of interaction with Flowers. He said not only did he have a fantastic week at the Shrine Bowl, looked fast, looked like a really good wide receiver, he also was a fantastic like human for that week. And so it's one of those things where you will kind of double like to cheer for him. But absolutely, Flowers had a good combine.
Yeah, I think he'll get drafted pretty nicely.
Yeah, he's in that. So he right now is my wide receiver 5 on film.
Justin, give the 109 and the 409 get Josh Jacobs and Paris Campbell. I'd love the idea of getting the production from Josh Jacobs. I don't honestly care where he goes. Like he's going to go somewhere that wants him. He didn't get tagged, right?
I think he did.
Did he?
I will look that up, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Because if he did get tagged, give me Josh Jacobs. Like I get it. Like
because I think that was the thing. Like they could have gotten him for if they had picked up his 5th-year option, they could have gotten him for less than
good
than if they tagged him. So
good for Josh. The more I think about this, just give me Josh Jacobs. Give me that known.
Yeah, like Jacobs was tagged. Non-exclusive franchise tag. Yep.
Perfect. Because like we were saying before, the 109 is the top of that 4th tier. So just take the guy we know is going to score a lot of points high. Yes, you are full of bubble wrap. I see that. Sean, Richardson is the new 101, 102 at worst in Superflex. Levis closer to 111. Like we said before, I will not be surprised. I will be surprised if he goes ahead of Bijan. Going to put that out there. I'm still not ready to say any quarterback is. Bijan has to fall, out of the second for me to like. Or like if he goes at the bottom of the second, I might be concerned because that's when someone's just going to be like, "Yeah, it's the second. Let me just take him." But like if he gets drafted in like the first 10 picks of the second, he's still my 101. Oh, you need to stop that. Too loud. Levis closer than 111. Whether he should be or shouldn't, he won't.
Right.
That's what that comes down to. Willis and Richardson are not even close on tape. And we didn't mean to compare them as players. It was just the situations,
right,
where it really is very just dependent on where they're drafted more than anything else.
Yeah, but again, I don't think that there's any comparison between the two, even athletically. Like obviously Richardson is.
Oh yeah, and like I don't think Willis was ever
out.
supposed to be that athletic, but he's he's huge. He's the size of a linebacker and he has a cannon. So
yeah, wow. I mean, so does so does Richardson. He just doesn't. He like again the same issues or similar issues, but.
Justin, give DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. No, these are all players I like. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Ritter, and get Mechie the 107 and a 24 third. Even if assuming super flex, I think I hold the players. I mean, Mechie and the third are absolutely nothing. So we're saying DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and who's probably going to be a starting quarterback, whether you like it or not, or want to play him or not. I think you keep the players here just for I know you'll like who you get at the 107, but these are two starters and one you won't feel great about, but you might have to eventually.
Right. I mean, I get it probably depends on the rest of your team. Like if you're non-competitive, I guess.
So you can age down and get rid of Keenan.
But if you have any chance of making the playoffs at all, then it's the DJ Moore, Keenan Allen side. It's
definitely not as sexy as the 107. Also, still, we don't know anything about Mechie. But we don't know. Shoko, in a 10-team, 2 QB PPR with Lamar, Watson, Walker, Ramondre, blah, 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 blah. What do you do with the 101? You take the best player, and that is Bijan. I almost combined Bijan and Saquon and said Bijan. That's my player.
Bijan. I like that.
Bijan, yeah, that's Ryan. 10-team Superflex start 9. I have a pick that people already assumed is the 24-101. The guy with the 23-102 floated the maybe swapping those picks. If he decides to go for it, I instantly accept. Right? Yes, because your pick will get worse by you getting whoever you take at the 102.
Right.
And then you find ways to make your team better to make that guy feel stupid.
Vindictive Russ is my favorite Russ.
I may have done that in a few leagues recently. Once to J Mike, which even I felt bad about because it's J Mike, and I missed the playoffs by one spot in TA6 because he wouldn't trade me my pick back, and he's like, "It's going to be an early first," and I'm like, "Is it now? Is it now?"
You did a really mean variation of that to me in the DFPN league where you traded me all your good players and I gave you your pick back, which became the 101.
And then the league shut down, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Jones was Daniel Jones. So yeah.
You're feeling better about that.
Forgot Mac Jones. We all try to forget Mac Jones existed.
I'm a Patriots fan and it slips my mind sometimes.
Gavin had a good one today. 12-team Superflex, 0.5 premium. Start 10 rebuild. Give McCaffrey, Kupp, Higgins, Gesicki, get CD, Metcalf, and Pierce.
Yes. I mean, it's a good rebuild.
It is. Yes, you got great pieces. I wish you didn't get Pierce. I wish you got something.
So go trade Pierce for something because people are still people are still excited about him. Like not everybody is as down on Dameon Pierce as you and I are. You should do it now because come the end of April, Dameon Pierce will probably have company in that backfield.
Okay, I take back everything because he has this now.
Yeah.
Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, Metcalf. Yeah, whatever you got to do to get those guys. Yeah. Do that. Matthew.
What? No Erickson. Justin Jefferson?
He has another draft to trade away. Calm down.
Okay.
He's got time. Trade in my inbox. 10-team, 1 QB. Get London and a 24 first for Pickens and the 1 to yes.
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 London.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yep.
London and the 24 first all day. Gavin, between the two teams, who do you think is more likely to make a notable addition to their running back room, the Bucs or the Texans?
Yes.
The Bucs, because the rest of their team is already better and it's less of a leisure pick. The Texans are not going to be good, so it seems silly to waste a pick of worth on a running back. If the Bucs took a running back in like the third or fourth, you really wouldn't be super surprised. Also, because they just need bodies in their running back room after they're more likely than not cut Fournette. But the Texans, it would be silly for them to spend on one.
Yeah, but I think in this draft class, you don't necessarily have to spend on one to get one. Like there are, I don't know, probably 9 or 10 like really legitimate running backs in this class for the NFL purposes. Obviously, there aren't going to be 9 or 10 for fantasy, but like there are players that you can throw in with Dameon Pierce that will give him a run for his money that you can get in the 4th and 5th round in the NFL draft.
That's very fair enough. Yeah.
So I think both teams will add a back. I think that it's more likely to have a back take over in Tampa than it is in Houston.
Rachaad White did look good.
He's fine.
I didn't say great. I said good. Calm down.
He's fine.
I said calm down, Zach. You don't need to get so worked up. This is Zach worked up, by the way. Yeah. Take Jason, then trade back into the first to take A-Chain, who runs better between the tackles than Gibbs, in my opinion, catches the ball just as well. But A-Chain's small.
He is very small. But people are worried that Gibbs came in at 199 instead of 200 also.
That's like the 201 is so much different from the 112.
Yeah. Like the man has a cheeseburger and he's fine. BMI Twitter.
Just holds in pooing for a day and he gains the weight. Hank J, 16 team, 1 quarterback, needs some advice. QB is you need a quarterback, even in a 1 quarterback league. Here we go. The only pick I own in the 23 class is the 216, but I have a boatload of picks in 24. Should I trade up for one of the QBs in the 23 class? Thanks. No.
Relax.
First of all, no. Okay, wait. I need to put things together in my brain. If you have 24 picks and you want a quarterback, you trade your 24 picks for a quarterback you know is good.
Yeah.
You don't trade into a draft which is just going to cost you extra.
Or you hang on. So like the 24 quarterback class is legit. At least as good as this one, probably better, and the top end is better. So either do what Russ said and trade for an actual quarterback that you know is good, or hang on, punt this season, trade your running backs to get young, proven wide receivers, and then, man, have at it next year.
How bad is the rest of his team is the question. He's too good. 16 team, and he has Walker, Pacheco.
Okay, so
March, Chase, Cooper. Yeah, I don't think you punt, but I still think going and trading for someone like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, like you don't need to, if you're not trading for the greatness, you trade for whatever. And the answer is always try and see if you can go get Mahomes, Allen, or Hurts. Go get those guys that'll make a difference. In a 16-team league, even if it was 1 quarterback, that might cost too much to be super worth it. But see what you can do, especially if the person who has those quarterbacks has a bad team otherwise. And if you can sell them on like Pickens and Gabe Davis and a pick, it's worth it. Always see what's out there. Beach balls. What is a combien?
How
that
much?
Is
Peter it's French. How much? Yeah. How many? Combien? Je ne parle pas français, je suis un pamplemousse. I don't speak French. I'm a grapefruit. Let's go.
Uncle Phil, Waddle or Najee in a 24 first, 1 quarterback, start 9, 2. Just leave the league. Unless that's 2 TNM premium, in which case that's still a lot. But I want Waddle over Najee in a first, especially in a 1 quarterback league.
Yep.
Nope, we did that. Sean Riley, people are panic trading Jamar. Definitely a buy low today. I need to see what the hell happened.
So I just looked that up. His ex-girlfriend has threatened to release videos that show him abusing her. So, and again, this is all hearsay. This is put out by, I don't know, a couple of different places, but I'm not sure if they are reputable. So pure speculation until anything happens. But that's what the buzz is.
I hope it's not true. Just as a human being, like,
yes,
forget fantasy football. Like, please. Hey, John Bosch.
John.
Sell all running backs. Yes. What cards do you have behind you, Russ? Higgins, Ison. Yeah. These are all different variations of the 2020 Prism T. Higgins cards. So these are all technically. I can fit 15 of them down here, and I have 1, 2. I think this is 6. I have 2 more on the way. 2 more I have to send in to get graded just so they match in the rest of the slab. And then I just have to get a few more. And then I'm going to do the rest of in different cards because these get really effing expensive. So I'm going to go find some cheap cards that I can do and not get them graded because that's just extra money. Except maybe Swift. If you can get the right price for Swift, you sell Swift. Otherwise, I think I'm going to go buy some Swift. Or Brees. I don't want to sell Brees. Also, Bijan. Clearly, you don't mean what you said if you have to amend it 3 times, Peter. Super Cooper, just tuning in, and I'm sure y'all already said this, but the combine matters to the NFL, not to us. Yep. Talent, draft, capital, and opportunities, the big 3 and what matters. Yeah, we said that. Josh Jacob tagged. Thank you. Don't take a Rich at 102 because he may not help this year. If they put him on the field, he's going to help.
Hey, but even if he doesn't help, I mean, that was Lamar Jackson didn't help your first year. Jalen Hurts didn't help your first. They didn't. They played like sick. Like it didn't happen, and so don't worry about that. And Fields didn't really help your first year, even though he was on the field some of the time. But like that's the thing about these. Like it's the thing about quarterbacks is there's no guarantee they're going to come in and start. There's no guarantee that they're going to come in and start and be productive, but that rushing quarterback archetype right now is the way to get massive fantasy points, a massive advantage over your league mates. And so, like, again, if you're spending a rookie pick and expecting that rookie pick to come in and like help you this year, you're playing this game wrong.
Short of like the Bijan level people.
Yeah, and that's why we break ties to running backs, because it's really easy to see a running back come in and be productive. It's the elevator, not the escalator. A running back is an elevator. He just gets in, goes, now he's the running back 1 getting most of the touches. Whereas a wide receiver, if a wide receiver goes down, it's an escalator. The 2 goes up and assumes a few more targets because he's ostensibly better. The 3 goes up and assumes some more targets, and then you just come in and kind of do whatever it is that you do as the wide receiver 3. So it's different. Running back is a lot more. It's a lot easier to see and predict, and so. But again, if don't draft a rookie assuming he's going to come in and be productive.
Which is why draft for value, trade for need, because you don't fill holes through the rookie draft.
Yep.
Sean, seems like crap. She's been saying it for over a year. People are weird, man. Like, she may have been saying it for a year and just waiting for the right time to let it out because she's angry. And if it's real and this is happening, which I will always give credit to anyone who comes out and says this, but she could just be in a bad place mentally about it and wants to hurt him as much as humanly possible. And that might be now for some reason, way, shape, or form. So I don't know, man. Like, I just hope it's not true, because I want for the human race to be a better people, so I hope he didn't do it. Gavin, I just feel out of all positional needs, Bucks and Texans, adding a solid running back would be exactly like, well, the Bucks are good, and we're not like
the Bucks' positional need is to trade everybody.
So
The Bucks really need to trade Evans and just
Start over.
kind of reset.
Yeah, but it's me. I would love to see that. Gavin, where do you guys like for Sanders and Montgomery or even Madison? Montgomery, I think his best case scenario is staying put. Like, he's done well there. They want to use him while he's there. So assuming they weren't just running him into the ground, I think him staying there and maybe hopefully getting that same usage is best case scenario for him. Otherwise, like I said before, I joked at the beginning, we just want everyone to go to Miami, right? Like, Sanders in Atlanta would be great.
No, I want Madison in Atlanta, and then he and Algier can just like Spider-Man meme point at each other. Because I think that was the thing when like my write-up with Algier is I was like, I think he's an Alexander Madison level player where if he gets opportunity, he's going to be successful. The question is he going to get opportunity? You saw him do that, but I'd love to see them duke it out. Just not for fantasy, but just
for fun, for funsies. Yeah, like besides that, like I don't really know if there's any. Is there any running back spots? Because the thing is, like Zach said before, there's going to be very talented running backs you can draft in the 4th or 5th. Yeah. So I think it's going to be very tough for guys of the Madison level to get money in free agency right now, because it'll be a lot cheaper, regardless of how late they could draft a guy. It'll just be cheaper to get a younger guy at running back.
I mean, yeah, like Carolina, I guess, is an interesting issue.
Yeah, but also, I mean, that is assuming they don't bring back Foreman, who seems to have earned his spot there.
Yeah.
You know, assuming he's not crazy and starts asking for like Saquon money, you know.
10.1 million. Sorry.
And then Evan Engram got tagged and makes more money than Saquon now. Madden's passed. Algier or Alec Pierce? I like Alec Pierce, but
it's still Algier.
Yeah,
take the points.
But like, what if we know Levis can throw the ball far? Does that help? Like, isn't that good for Pierce?
I guess. I mean, yeah,
I guess. Yeah, Steve Campbell. I have an offer that would send me Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon for Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, and Drake London. You should take that.
Yeah, do that.
Superflex Dynasty, start 2. Doesn't matter. You don't want Mixon. Honestly, send the trade back and ask for something worth less than Mixon just to make it not Mixon. And he's old. It looks like that legal trouble might not be a thing, but he's still probably going to get cut for money purposes anyway. I think there's better directions you can go than Joe Mixon, but even still, if you're stuck with that, you take it because that's Jamar Chase. And while Drake London is good, I love me some Jerry Jeudy, and Javonte Williams might be good again at some point. It's Jamar Chase. You're never sad to have Jamar Chase on your team. Combian sounds like a coma induced from too much Ambien. Combined. Yeah, I love it. Not even here, and Peter just gives us gold. Pierce with a new QB, 6'3", ran in.
He wouldn't be the wide receiver 1 though, because he wasn't even close to the wide receiver 1 in a class that didn't have.
Oh, he's 6'3"
JSN.
and ran in the 4.3s.
Yeah,
is that what he's trying to? Okay, yeah, no, he would not be the wide receiver 1 in this class. He's good. I like.
Well,
him.
I think you're taking too much stock in one day in like compression shorts, and not like. It matters, but it doesn't necessarily translate to football. My comparison, I tweeted out, I said, judging NFL players solely on the combine, like NFL ability solely on the combine, is like judging intelligence by the SATs. Like, there is some correlation, but it's not spot. Like, I know a lot of really, 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 really smart people who would not do well on the SATs. There are a lot of NFL players who did not do well at the combine because those things are not what you do
on the field.
I mean, Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry ran a 4.71 40-yard dash. A 4.71.
Keenan was definitely in like I think Hopkins was in like the 4.5s.
Yeah. Well, at 4 or 5, like again,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't
Yeah, exactly.
matter. Like there are pieces of it that like it's nice to see. It matters more to me for lower school players because if a player comes in from a like lower conference or it's not Division 2 anymore. It's B whatever it is. It's not BCS. It's the other one, FBS. But if a player comes in from a lower conference, like it's nice to see that they are comparably athletic to the other players coming in from other higher conferences, but it's not a magic bullet, because if it was a magic bullet, then Russ and I wouldn't be here. You just have a spreadsheet in front of you.
Peter.
Yeah. And he's not even here.
Peter. Blind. What QBs outside the Holy Four would be worth looking to buy instead of picking a QB in the draft at the 102? So what QBs should you offer the 102 for? Is that what veteran QBs? Am I reading it like that?
Yes. I don't know, Russ. Are we talking like Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, and Hurts? Is that the Holy Four?
No,
or
I think
the Holy Four Levis, Richardson.
Well, because he's saying
Stroud,
don't draft.
Young.
So I'm assuming we're talking Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow. You can't just say correct, man, when we're listing 3 separate things. Who would you send the 102 for? That I'm going to stick with that is the question. And again, while trade has nothing to do with startup, I will tell you, quarterbacks drafted around the 102 in the startup we're doing right now, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. That's really it, man. And there was a huge drop until you got to 2 at the 307. Do
you think Lamar Jackson being tagged and being embroiled in this will drop him enough that the 102 is tempting for the Lamar Jackson owner, because there's enough nebulousness?
Try it for sure.
Because that would be
the big on Lamar, and I would absolutely do that. I sold Kyler to Peter for the 102 and the 202.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's that bad of a deal either. Yeah, I think you're stuck at that who you would draft at the end of the first round of a startup kind of people, like the Dak Prescotts of the world, because like there's a really, really, really big gap after that tier. And unfortunately, that's around where the 102 is going to get you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all quarterbacks with blemishes. Yeah, Gavin, exactly right. Lamar, if possible, Kyler, Fields, Dak. Like that's right around where you're at.
It does. The league settings don't necessarily matter. We assume you're talking super flex because you're talking about grabbing quarterbacks at the 102. Honestly, go get like Tua plus. Like if you want to go compete, go get Kirk Cousins plus a lot. Like do something like that, or add to the 102 and go get Lawrence.
Yeah.
Or like add a lot and go get Hurts. Give Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, and Metcalf. Get Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and a 24 first. I say no, but like I would do this and then print out the email and like frame it on my wall, because you can say you took place in this ridiculous of a trade. I mean, the wide receiver 1 and 2 for the wide receiver 3, 4, 5, and 8. Like,
yeah, man,
cool, 24 first. Like, man, I keep the 4. That's half your starting lineup. Like, week to week, chances are one of those guys are going to score equal to at least one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like, I stick with the 4.
Yeah,
I get it, and it will. Looking down at a roster and seeing Chase and Jefferson is an amazing feeling. I know, but that's rough. Matt, 10 teams start 9, 2 QB, no tight end premium. Have Dak, Herbert, Blah 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 blah. Asking needs. Okay, and you have a lot of picks. You don't need anything. You're fine. It's 2 QBs, so you do need a third quarterback because you need to start one in that second spot. So you don't want to take a 0.
Right.
But you have Chase, Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Waddle, Smith. I love our people's wide receiver core. Seriously. Yeah, you're hurting at running back with only Akers and Gainwell, but who cares right now? So yeah, you need a third quarterback. You will need running back depth by the time the season comes around. But you have a lot of really good picks. Like, you're going to walk out with your third quarterback, take the 103, trade back.
Yeah.
Grab Gibbs at the 106 and whatever. And you also have Goddard. I mean, like, he's a great tight end to have in a non-premium because he's still going to score you a decent amount of points. Like, I think you're good, man. Like, I don't think you need to worry about anything right now because you don't have needs in March. But if you want to look at your roster and feel good about it, you'll be able to. We said before, you don't fix your roster through the rookie draft. But when we're talking about backups, yes, you are. You know, or when we're talking about feelings or aesthetics of looking at your roster, yeah, because you will look down and you will see Dak, Herbert, and Stroud, Young, Richardson, whatever your flavor, and you'll feel good about it. So, man, I don't think you need to do anything right now, but go have fun. You can go do anything and you'll be fine with it.
Do you think, how close would you be to getting to the 101 with 102 and 106? Just out of curiosity, because you could add Bijan plus a quarterback.
Yeah,
like I would try that. And
especially
see
if the
what
team
happens.
earned the 101, they'll want out of the 101, and that's a great way to get out of it. Because you could tell them, look, you're going to walk away with a quarterback and a really good wide receiver or running back at 6.
Yeah, just for thought.
Yeah, very, 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 very good thought. Keenan ran at 4.7. I knew it was something ridiculous. Yeah. Cam Akers or a 25 first. I hate that
first. I want the first.
I know the answer is the first, but I really do believe that Akers won't be terrible.
No, but yeah,
it's a first. You take the first. Yeah, you. Oh, good. Okay, so I was curious who the fourth was, and it is Burrow. Okay, I agree. I think he's the QB4.
Holy Joe Burrow.
Holy Joe Burrow. Cameron Ward Truther. Do we know who Cameron Ward is?
I feel like that's a defensive player, Russ. I don't do that sort of thing.
I don't know what that word means. Who is the 102 right now in Superflex? Is it Richardson now, or are we waiting for draft? We're waiting for draft capital and landing spot. Upside play will end up being Richardson. It's going to be one of your, pick your guy kind of moves, which I now love because it's going to bring a lot of.
I don't know. Washington State quarterback Cameron Ward. Come on, let's go.
I totally should have known that. West Coast. Hey, man, it's been a while. 12 team Superflex PPR is the rookie pick 108 in the same tier as the 202 inbox offer. 108 and Boyd for the 202 in Montgomery. What a weird trade. I just say no because I don't want any.
Nope. Hang on to the 108.
Yeah. Are they in the same tier? Probably.
I think the 108's higher than the 108.
Oh, wait, no. We were saying the 108's the bottom of that tier. No, 108 for sure. Yeah. Now that we're saying it out loud. Yeah, 108 for sure.
I mean, even the 109, like, again, because the 108 is probably Addison.
Yeah.
Right. The 109 is Quentin Johnston or flip them. I still have those two higher than anything else.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So,
if that's so the 4 can get close to those 2, why are Chase and Jefferson clearly first round startup Superflex, and you wouldn't think about it with the other 4?
Because so the individual players, yes.
Oh, the trade with all the amazing wide receivers.
So the individual players, yes. But the aggregate, what you can add to your lineup is you have to think about it in terms of positional value and positional advantage. And yes, Jefferson and Chase give you the biggest positional advantage overall. So like over your wide receiver 1, over your wide receiver 2. But if you look at CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown and DK Metcalf, those guys over the wide receiver 3, over the wide receiver 4, it's such a huge difference, and you're not gaining as much Jefferson and Chase over Brown and CeeDee Lamb as you would with those other two over the wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4 in a given roster. And again, it's not like, yes, Jefferson and Chase are the players that you want, the wide receivers that you want, the top tier of wide receivers, but that's the reason behind, to me, the positional advantage is not just like that player, but also that player within the framework of your roster and lineup.
If you pull this trade off and you send me the framed copy of it, it will go right there. I'm telling you right now. I'll do it. But yeah, like everything he just said, you want there's a price difference or value difference between Chase and Jefferson and the rest of those guys because, first of all, age, upside, offense. Also because let's pretend that they finish within 2 points per game of each other. Clearly, Chase or Jefferson are going to be 2 points above the rest of them. You also have to put into it how they got to that average, because that's why points per game isn't necessarily perfect. Go look at Joe Mixon's points per game this past year. He finishes a top 12 running back in points per game. Take away the last game, he's in the low 20s, or not or the game he put up 50 points. Like, average isn't a perfect descriptor of how things go. If you have Chase and Jefferson who may fall below double digits literally once an entire season, or you have someone like St. Brown who's going to give you 4 or 5, but then give you a couple of 30-point games to bring up that average, chances are you're going to want the guy who just doesn't go lower and still has a little bit of the higher ceiling because he still finishes above. Like it's all nuanced. And when you have to start 10 players, having 1, 2, 3 isn't as important as having, if you have to start 1, 2, 18, 24, 36, or you can start 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You feel better with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even though you could have 1 and 2. Just because, like I said, week to week, chances are Jefferson and Chase are not going to be the wide receiver 1 and 2 every single week. That would be really cool. Michael Thomas, the last season where he was Michael Thomas, finished the wide receiver 1. Do you know how many wide receiver 1 weeks he had? He never finished as the top wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's really good. But it's clearly not really week winning. Like there's so many ways to look at everything. And the best you can do is average out all of the things that you put together to put into value. And you have to rank people somehow, right? And they're just, those two are that much of a difference maker week to week and in the season that it puts them above everyone else. No chance at the 101. All right.
That's fair.
There goes that. It was a really fun idea. Is Deshaun going to have a comeback year? Comparatively, yes. Back to what he was, probably not.
Yeah.
Like he's talented. That doesn't just disappear. There's a whole lot of rust after not playing for 2 years, though.
Browns are going to brown.
Browns are going to brown. Well, their contract is them already browning. 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Lance, AJ Brown, and the 107 are Burrow, DJ Moore, and the 109.
I think it's Burrow.
It is Burrow for me. Here's the thing. The difference between Burrow and Lance is probably smaller than the difference between AJ Brown and DJ Moore. But the importance of the quarterback position in a 12-team Superflex league is that much bigger that Burrow just puts this deal over the edge on the Burrow side for me, because I love AJ Brown. AJ Brown is really, really, really good. I have said ever since his end of his rookie year, if I see one season where he doesn't get a hamstring injury, he is vaulting in my rankings. And he did. He is wide receiver 3 for me without question. So I'm ready for it. But Joe Burrow over Trey Lance is just enough for me not to care about the 2 picks in the 107 and the 109. And DJ Moore makes me feel safe enough that Lance does not make me feel safe enough.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Stability with the quarterback position. Like you're paying in that trade. Trey Lance is carrying the value as if he is the unquestioned starter and playing well. Yeah. And neither of those things are true yet.
Yeah. All right. I'm guessing we have probably another 15, 20 minutes. So we're going to try and the freak. I got Breece Hall for the 104 and Geno in a 1. You crushed that.
Yes.
Good for you. I am jealous because I've been trying to buy Breece Hall all non-point scoring season. I can't get near him. Matt, thoughts on upgrading from Dak? Pair with wide receiver like ARSB. I'm sorry, it's ARSB, not ASTB. Though, really funny story. Their dad added the Saint in front of Brown because they thought it would look good on the back of a jersey.
Yeah.
That's literally why it's St. Brown.
When you're Mr. Universe, you can do that sort of thing, Russ.
My wife, when we first got married, my wife hyphenated, which I don't know why, because it's a logistically a pain in the ass. I completely understand wanting to represent her family who doesn't have, there's no men. She only has a sister, so she needs to keep the name's legacy going. Whatever the heck you want. I'm not that guy that's going to say, no, you need to. Actually, it's really funny. I said that once and she laughed at me. I'm really just not comfortable with you not taking my last name. But after that happened, I'm like, look, I don't care about my last name. It just happened to be my dad's name that got passed down. We should pick a last name. And then we got so stuck on making ridiculous names like Powers or, something that was just so ridiculous that we're like, this is too much responsibility. We're just going to go with Fisher. Okay, so pair with ARSB, the 106 or 24 first to get Mahomes. Okay, Dak, St. Brown, and a first to get Mahomes. I would not do that. I can't do that. It's probably fair, but I think I like Dak enough, and I think I like St. Brown a little too much. And the 106 is nice and all, or a 24 first, but
right.
Don't get me wrong. If you want Mahomes, you have to do this. This is what you have to do.
But this is still that same team where you're starting 2 quarterbacks where you got Dak and Herbert. So Dak is your QB2. I don't think that. I mean, maybe, but I don't know that.
I don't know if it's the right move for your team. I don't know. Dream. Honestly, you don't even know if the guy would take that. You know what? Screw it. Go get Mahomes.
Yeah. I don't mind it.
Yeah. It's not. I think I'm stuck on the players themselves as opposed to the value, because the value of this isn't bad at all to go get Mahomes. So if the guy takes it, especially, would you rather I'd rather give up a 24 first, because screw later. Just, keep your 106 and go get the guy we like, who will be there at the 106.
You got this. It pains me, Russ. We're in too many rookie drafts together, and you have too much love for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, but also most of the rookie drafts we're in together, I probably don't have picks.
That's true.
Because you probably have them already. Woo, give Walker and London to get the 101, or is that too much?
No,
Again, I really like London, and I like the situation that London is walking into, because I loved how he and Ritter were looking at the end of the season. I would do that in a heartbeat, because that is valuing Walker like the running back 1 or 2, and he just isn't. So I would do that all day to go get Bijan. Andrew Carlson, 12-team PPR, 1 quarterback, start 8. Sitting with the 104 and the 112. Do I try and trade up to 102 or 103, or just trust the process and hope that there are good landing spots for someone to get to the 104? 1 quarterback. In a start 8, you just want to get the best guy possible. So, yeah, I would go and try and trade up for the 102.
Yeah. Yep.
Go get JSN and call it a day, or trade for if you can get a veteran that will go into your lineup. But otherwise, if you want to stay in this draft and you want to draft a good person, I would absolutely try and trade up. You will know who Cam Ward is next draft season when he's QB3 behind Caleb Williams and Drake. Okay, yeah,
absolutely will.
That is absolutely when I will know who he is.
It will be 55 weeks from right now, and we'll revisit this because I know in 3 weeks I'm doing my quarterback edition of the Dynasty Dummies Hootenanny. So
I look forward to it. Hey, Dave. Jackson P. When do you stop consolidating in a start 8-1 quarterback when you have less than 8 starters? Have the chance to add Jonathan Taylor for Chubb, Hollywood, and the 112. My bench would consist of the 102, Josh Palmer, then a steep drop-off. That's fine. I don't care about benches. Not even in a start 8. We start 10, and I don't like having depth. You usually want to have one guy that will be your bye week replacement, but otherwise I don't care. If you can Chubb, Hollywood in the 112, I think is actually a really good price for Jonathan Taylor, because Jonathan Taylor should be good in this offense that would most likely have a good quarterback. So while it feels weird to say I would take and trade for Jonathan Taylor, I think I'd send that for Jonathan Taylor, and I'd be super happy about it. What if you add Garrett Wilson to Chase and yes?
Yeah, then that's the Chase Jefferson side, because then now you
instead of a 24, if it's DK, what was it, AJ Brown, Lamb, and ARSB, something like that for Chase, Jefferson, and Wilson. Yeah, 4 for 3, you get the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Lance has thrown 60 passes in 4 years and has a metal ankle. No brainer. Yeah. I have inside sources that say Lance is very, very healthy right now. And I'm not lying.
I don't, but again, you're still assuming a bunch of risk, even if he is healthy.
1,000%, yes, you are. Yeah. Does a healthy Williams take away from ARSB target share next year? No, they have nothing to do with each other.
Good players play good. That's what happens. Good receivers will drive targets.
We are absolutely 100% past the point where we need to think that 2 wide receivers can't eat on an offense together.
Yeah. And it's probably even if Williams comes in and is what we expect him to be, it's probably even better for Amon-Ra St. Brown, because that offense is better. They're going to score more. They're going to move the ball down the field. It's going to be excellent.
Could swap Hill for ARSB, would give huge positional advantage. That's the same position, and they're pretty near each other rankings wise.
I mean, Hill scores more, I think, is the. But
thoughts on upgrading from Dak? I think that's what this is. The Dak, ARSB, and the 106. So he's talking about giving Hill instead of ARSB.
Yeah.
So getting Mahomes would give him the huge positional advantage. Yeah, I would honestly rather do it with Hill because he's old, and that makes me feel better to see the young wide receiver on my team. Sky Moore or Mike Williams? How close is it? 10 teams start 11 PPR. They're
gelato.
Yeah, honestly, Sky Moore because he's younger and hasn't gotten injured as much as Mike Williams has.
I don't really want either of them. Trade them both.
Trade one, then trade the other. Andy Reid said post Super Bowl, Sky and Toney will have significant. Whatever. Coach speak is wonderful. Shout out Josh Palmer. Yeah, every single time, Dave. You got it. Stephen White, a Bears fan, keeps trying to get my Fields from me in a 12-team Superflex. He's offered Dak plus. What else would it take for you to get the deal done? He has no 23 first or young wide receivers. Sometimes he just can't get a deal done. I've run into this a very annoying amount of times lately, but you know what you do? Either A, try and work out a 3-team trade, which is so much fun, or literally just tell that guy what you want.
Yeah.
Look, I'm cool with doing Dak plus for Fields, but it needs to be someone like this. And you give him a range and player type.
You give him a shopping list to go get to put in a trade with you.
Thought if I can get Mahomes and move off Dak and Hill, I could draft a third QB at 102, take JSN at 103, Gibbs at 6. Yeah, 1,000%. Yes.
I mean, assuming Gibbs is going to be there at 6.
Yeah, honestly, I do. Switching it to Hill makes me a lot happier. And the more I talked about it, the more, I'm cool with sending that away to go get Mahomes because it's Mahomes. And you do have enough otherwise where it doesn't kill you to lose those. So if you can get away with sending Hill, I would be good with that. But also, yeah, plan too much of what rookies you're taking where just yet, because heck knows. Then try a trade 23 seconds for Hill. If you can get Jacobs or Najee for a bunch of seconds, you go do that. Pollard, man, I don't know. Like, I'm still so weird on Pollard, but he seemed to do well in Dallas. Maybe he'll still do well in Dallas.
Seconds.
Yeah, it's their seconds. Josh Allen for 23 picks, 103, 106, 110.
If you're the Josh Allen side of that, yes, you want the Josh
Allen for those. Yeah. What tier of wide receiver do it would take to take Dak instead of Fields? It doesn't, like, honestly, they're not that far apart value-wise, the two quarterbacks, but I still think I want someone like Pittman level,
Burks.
Like that wide receiver.
I'd rather have the
that like level.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like wide receiver 18-ish, and that's where both of them kind of fall. So it is for the better to stay young, especially if you're getting older at quarterback. So go for someone like Burks, someone around there. Yeah, I like that. When do you start trying to compete once you have elite quarterbacks in Superflex? I have Herbert and Burrow with good wide receivers and tight ends. Yeah, so now. You wait until September, you trade for a running back, and then start competing. Because that's what you do. You build your quarterback, you build your wide receiver, and you even have a tight end already. Usually that's something I say for last also. But you got it. So you're ready.
It's so much easier than the NFL, because in the NFL you have to build your offensive line first.
Screw that noise. No. We don't know Hardman and Juju are gone.
It's not a disservice to our audience. You're still stuck on the fact that you think those guys are great players. They're not great players. They're fine. Like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. Like, they're fine. But they're not great players. They're not going to be the one in Kansas City, because the one in Kansas City is Travis Kelce. So at the very best, they're two, and a bunch of what they did for scoring was gadgety stuff. Andy Reid is brilliant. Andy Reid would run Kadarius Toney in motion behind the tight end, stop him, and then cut him back out against the zone. The zone didn't know who they were covering, and so Toney got open with nobody within
touchdown,
25 yards.
Both of those guys scored the same exact one in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, like they did it twice. They did it once on one side, and then they screwed up and did it on the other side by accident because Toney got the call wrong, and so he went to the wrong side, and they were like, heck with it, we'll do it anyway. Like, it's not a disservice. Like, they are fine, but they are not going to be what people are billing them as. I have been doing this for a long enough time to bet against those type of players, and more often than not, you're going to be better off betting against them. That's all. I mean, and again, it's
and when it comes down to players like Toney and Sky Moore, whatever is whatever, because their price is so low. So if you want to get them, fine, go get them.
Yeah. And again, like if Toney becomes Cordell Patterson or whatever it is, then great. Like, awesome. You got a steal at the price, but he's not a player that like I'm actively pursuing at this point.
I'm so jealous of Chris right now. You got Josh Allen for those picks. Good for you, man. Are you worried about Lamb with McCarthy crying run, run, run?
I mean, they're still going to throw some. Yeah. I mean, it won't be the volume.
It won't be the Kellen Moore offense for sure, but like they still have to pass the ball.
And he's going to be the first read.
And like he's very, very good. Pollard top 10 RB with 18 to 20 touches winner. Probably yes. And I will 1000% admit it's me. I get it. Dynasty wise, I don't think his value should be very high because we hate most running backs because they're 25 and on their second contract. Why do we love Pollard? Because he's 25 and on his second contract. But yeah, he will probably score a lot of fantasy points, and it's 1000% in my head.
Well, and it's, again, trading seconds to go get Pollard, absolutely.
If absolutely for seconds, 1000%, yeah, absolutely. Marvin, 10-team Superflex PPR, 224 firsts, Gino and Mac for T-Law and a second. One is projected top 4 first. You can't project 24 picks. It doesn't matter. So 2 24 firsts, Geno and Mac. Honestly, yeah, I'm fine with that. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But you're not going to feel great starting Geno and Mac, but you're going to feel wonderful starting T-Law. And if that second is top half, it's enough for me to not care about giving up an extra 24 first out of it or giving up Geno out of it. Like, to me, one of those seconds, the second you cross out with Geno, so 2 firsts and Mac for T-Law, I think I do that.
Yeah, I'd have to see the rest of the team because again, I think you.
I don't care.
I think you can. I think you can be marginally competitive this year with Geno Smith. Like I really do. I think he's going to be pretty close to Trevor Lawrence in terms of points. Obviously, the getting Lawrence on your team value wise and future wise. But again, I'd have to see the rest of the team to really be. I don't hate it, but I also don't. I don't mind having the 224 first and reloading next year.
I have not heard this, by the way.
What's this?
That the Cowboys are actively looking for an alpha wide receiver. They need wide receivers. Like literally, they need bodies in that room. That's 1,000% true. They will be drafting a wide receiver. Will they be drafting someone early? I mean, I have no freaking idea.
I mean, the only alpha in this class is Quentin Johnston, and he's not.
CeeDee Lamb is really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not super concerned about it.
Yeah.
I am a little sad that if they do go back to ground and pound because it's obnoxious,
and they're going to because that's McCarthy. Yeah. I mean, he's already said
I like receivers.
He said that Kellen Moore didn't run enough, and the Cowboys were like 27th in run rate over expected. So
no, Sky and Toney taking their touches. We talked enough about that. Sean, what would it take for you to move Kyle Pitts? Man, that's such a hard question. 10-team Superflex, start 10, 0.5 PPR, no premium. No premium makes it a little start 10-team Superflex. JSN or Pitts?
In a no tight end premium, I'd take the receiver.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, like his value is not really that thrilling in a 10-team Superflex, no premium.
He's fine. He's fine. He's good, but he's young. I think that's the biggest thing is he's young and his profile is great. Yeah.
Super, super young. What should I have to add to Dak to move up to T-Law? Early second value. Like I don't like you'll probably have to add something that's worth a first just because of the age difference and because T-Law is shiny new and people just don't like Dak for some reason. And I would probably do it depending on the rest of your team. Like if you want to age down and still score some points, and if you could afford to give up whatever that's going to take.
I think that's that same team.
Yeah,
I have to go back, but
the one from Mahomes.
Yeah.
I would love to do that because you also have to pay one of those pieces less. Like if you could do Dak in the 106 for T-Law and like a late second, I would do that.
Yep.
What's Geno's value right now? I've seen him go for a late first. Yeah. I don't want to do that, but he will get it because he did well enough last year.
I would say he probably should. He was a top 12.
So. I sold him for many 2 seconds. I owned Geno Smith was one of my most owned players, rostered players, just because I bought him everywhere off of the free agent wire when Russell Wilson got hurt, and I held on to him. And I sold a lot of him for 2 seconds, and I'm still fine and happy with it. But right now, I think I saw him go for the 109. So honestly, that feels right now that he got signed. I don't know if I do it, but it feels right. Like that's what it should be. Is there a Blair landing spot for a rookie quarterback? I'm not a fan of Vegas. McDaniels, 30-year-old wide receiver 1, 31-year-old tight end, Renfro, respectively. No, I don't. Like, if they're in need of a quarterback, then it's fine. Like, I don't think I really have any places I don't want a quarterback to land. Like, honestly, the Texans are a poorly run franchise with no one to catch the ball. But they're definitely getting a quarterback, and we're still going to draft him anyway. Which is why, like, I want the Texans to draft Richardson because he'll get his own fantasy points. He doesn't need to throw the ball as much. I honestly like Washington over Vegas with Bieniemy. That's fair. I do. I'm excited to see what Bieniemy does because I do think it's a little crap he hasn't gotten a job yet.
I will
Sorry.
be interested to see what Washington does with their quarterback position, whether they actually draft one or whether they,
Give Howell a shot.
Yeah. And again, I think Howell was the best quarterback coming out last year. I think he is a sneaky runner and a pretty good.
Okay, yeah, he's white. We get it.
No. He came in like he was recruited as
he's sneaky athletic.
No, a sneaky runner. He's very athletic, but he's a sneaky runner.
I love the coded messages.
He came in as a dual threat quarterback. They made him into a pocket quarterback when they had the really good running backs and Daz Newsome and De'Ami Brown. Sorry,
Respect.
I get caught in the dazzle. But then Howell transitioned back into that dual threat his last year there, and everyone was like, "Oh, I can't throw anymore." It's like, no,
it didn't. Both of his wide receivers
didn't go away. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to me to see what they do.
Yeah. Diggs or Arizona wide receiver from Houston to whoa. What? Oh, the wide receiver that the Cowboys are gonna look for?
I don't know.
I have no idea, man. Sorry. I thought the same about the Texans. Then they got Ryans. I get it. Like they got a locker room guy. That's what Demeco Ryans is. It's the equivalent of Mike Vrabel, and it's about who they bring in around him.
Yeah.
Is Mike Williams a league winner this year with new OC Kellen Moore? Is he a great buy low? What's your opinion?
He's not a bad player to have on the end of your roster.
Hashtag Team Clem's a big wide receiver, baby.
But like the cool thing about him is he's cheap. And if you add him in and he's your wide receiver 3 or a guy you're flexing in, then there's again, boom weeks. We'd take that.
Jackson, check out Matthew Berry's article about rumors he heard at the combine. A lot of good info in there. He also suggested Hopkins to Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they're not as much as I love Matthew Berry, they're not telling Matthew Berry anything right now. It's
Correct.
all rumors. It's all
stuff they want to put out there.
Absolutely. And so I'm not saying that he doesn't know, but I'm telling you that NFL GMs and the people in the know aren't telling us anything, which is why the draft always comes as a surprise and the trades always come as surprises. Like they're pretty good at not telling us what's going on until it happens.
Jerry Jeudy or 24 first. It's probably equal.
Yeah.